Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my Thursday Yeah, it's Thursday. I almost didn't make it today because it's I did start late today. I went out to Great Falls this morning and took some pictures. And actually, I only got a couple of waterfall pictures, but most of my pictures today were just trying different things. I'll share them with you. I just put them up on the Photo Club website, but I'll post them on the Instagram and Flickr as I always do. And they're pretty much straight out of camera images. I did some reflection shots, and I'll show them in a few minutes. But a lot is. I've been so busy this week, but I wanted to talk about a few things. One thing was, I guess, three things. One is, I didn't realize this, but in a lot of my videos from this year that I've published this year, when I'm sitting here at my desk like I am now, I noticed, I didn't notice, but one of my viewers noticed that there is a very high pitch frequency sound or buzzing, very high frequency buzzing sound in my videos, in the audio. And I was able to identify it finally, but it was out of my hearing range. So I never heard it whenever I was publishing my videos. But it's at 12,000 kilohertz. In my hearing, I can hear up to about 10,000 kilohertz pretty easily. 11,000, if I turn the volume up, I can hear 11,000. But 12,000, yeah, I'm totally tone deaf to 12,000 and higher, which I guess is normal as you get older. That's the first thing to go, right? So I loaded all my I had to diagnose where the noise was coming from, right? Find the source, and it turns out it's my HDMI adapter. And I'm going to try and get a different power supply for it and see if that makes any difference. But that's where it's coming from. It's not the microphone, it's not the cables. It is strictly this HDMI switch box. And the only thing I can try is maybe a different power supply so that because the noise is coming from somewhere, so that's the only other thing I can change that might eliminate that noise. But what I'm doing in the meantime is I'm just applying a notch filter, which basically blocks out that one little area or frequency from the audio. And it didn't make any difference that I could hear to the overall quality of the audio because, like I said, it's out of my hearing range. But most human voices, when I'm talking, are, in the 2000 or less, range, right? And I have kind of a baritone tenor type voice, I guess. But let me show you how I diagnosed it. I used a software called Audacity. I know this is not photo related, but it is kind of. If you're doing any kind of video work or anything, this may be helpful to you. But I used Audacity. Where did I put the picture? Here it is. So this is the picture, right there. And what you want to look at, can you see the mouse? You can't see my mouse. But basically, you're looking at two different audios. One where I use the notch filter is the one on top. And the one on the bottom, I wish that was bigger. Gosh. There. Hold on. Okay. So you see the notch filter here. There's a black line through the waveform here. That's when I applied the notch filter. But this is the audio here. You see this little line here? That is a very high pitch frequency, right at 12,000 kilohertz. That that this other viewer was hearing. Now, the majority of my audience is, 55 and older. So I would imagine that that's why I haven't heard anybody complain about this noise. And but anybody that can hear 12,000 kilohertz or higher is going to hear this freaking noise in every video I've made since the beginning of the year, because that's when I started using this new HDMI switcher. And I checked my videos from the past because I saved the videos to my hard drive. But there you go. You go tone deaf as you get older, and these things are. This is something I would have never caught if somebody didn't bring it up to me. So I really appreciate the person that brought this up to me, and I have a temporary fix for it using this notch filter. So if you watch even the dash cam video I just made, uh, I had to use a notch filter, but it didn't totally eliminate it because um, I applied the notch filter after the fact. If I apply the notch filter before I start recording, then it cleans it out very nicely, at least the way this picture looks, as far as I can tell. This is a spectrograph of the audio. But I did that using Audacity. So, oh, here are the pictures I just uploaded. Uh, these are not very good, but let me go back to my screen. So there's that. That was that was an eye opener, and I'm wondering if that's been affecting people thinking about subscribing to my channel. They're like, well, this guy's audio is just so bad. I can't listen to it, because younger audiences, people in their 20s and 30s, I would imagine can easily hear 12,000 kilohertz. I don't know when I went tone deaf above 11,000 kilohertz, but it is what it is, right? So it's interesting, the things that we're not even aware of, things we can't hear, things we can't see, that are there, that can affect other people, and we don't even know it. It'd be totally unintentional. So I did that. I spent like a whole day trying to diagnose what that problem was. Okay, what was the other thing? Okay, the other thing, since I last saw you guys, was our superheroes watching my videos. Listen, when I looked it up online, they say young people can hear up to about 18,000 kilohertz. And sound engineers and sound producers that are really good, they can hear typically around 14,000 kilohertz because of their age, right? They're a little older. But they can still hear up to 14,000 kilohertz. But, 50 and over, I guess it varies from there, but I'm definitely in the 11,000 or less kilohertz range. And at 11,000, I have to turn the volume up quite a bit to hear it. Oh, yeah. This week's episode on hearing loss. So true, right? So true, Andrew. And that reminds me, Andrew, I saw one of your pictures in the Rob Trek Flickr group. Really, really nice. I can't remember the picture exactly, but I do remember seeing your name when I click like on that picture, and I was like, wow, this is a really, really good image. So everyone that's contributing to my Flickr group, the images, I do look at them and I click the likes on the ones I like. And I appreciate you guys contributing to that group. It's been a nice. It's nice. I like seeing what you guys have been up to and what you're shooting, and all the different places you guys are around the world, and how you see things, how you process your images. Uh, it's all just very interesting to me, and a pleasure to look at. So I appreciate that. But I do remember, let me just pull it up because a lot of people aren't in my group, right? So you don't even know what I'm talking about. Uh, oh, excuse me. I'm drinking soda, so I'm a little bit. Ooh, some fireworks from Michael White. That's cool. Here, I'm on this page. Wow, there's been a lot uploaded since yesterday. That's great. I got a lot to go through. Oh, I like this. Thomas Zazauskas. Yeah, he's always got some interesting street photos. Now I'm going a little bit too far. Yeah, here's one. This is awesome. I like this one. um, man, how do I show this bigger? F11. That's about as big as I can show it, I guess. This I liked. It's a frame within a frame, very basic composition, but I think the tones and the tones of the black and white, the processing is really good, but also you have some symmetry here, right? We not in terms of geometry, but I like how you have a tire framing a car, right? The tire is framing a car, but this tire is being used as a swing. But it's just I just like this. What are the? It's complementary type framing, right? Because a lot of times when you see frame within a frame type compositions, the framing is got nothing to do with what it's framing. You might have a bridge framing a person walking, the typical street photography, right? You have these long shadows of a guy coming around a corner, and then you use whatever bridge or buildings to frame them in the street. But this I liked because it's just a little bit different. It's the same idea, frame within a frame, but I like the tire framing another car, uh, and then the tire itself is no longer being used. It's just a swing. But anyway, I thought this was cool. And there was one other one. I mean, Andrew's been killing it lately. There's a lot of good pictures in here, but that's a cool bike. Stephen Long, yeah, you guys, there's so many good pictures. This was really good. T. Becky, I don't know who this is, but clearly, I don't know if the frame was added after the fact, but I like the frame. Dang it. Well, you would think a picture you really liked would just pop out at you when you see it, right? That was one. I don't think. Yeah, I haven't gone through all of these. A lot of these are really new. Dave Nelson. Dave Nelson is awesome, though. Always, always. And I need to talk about Dave Nelson's thread as well. I thought there was another one from you, Andrew. I know, because you submit a lot, and I've seen all of them. Well, I'm not going to bore everybody by going through all these. But, go to my Flickr group and check it out. There's some really awesome pictures by the community here that, yeah, I don't know where it is. I know there's another one I really liked from you. Okay. Oh, there's a notification. Let's see. Anything good? Oh, just a new follower. So that was good. Was it the motion blur cyclist picture? I'd have to see it. It doesn't. Let me dig through. I like the general store. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at here. Like this one here. This was a good shot. I like the processing here too. It's really nice. kind of a gentle sepia type look, but it's very, very crisp. Oh yeah, this one. This is that you're right. It is the one with the cyclist, little motion blur. Um, yeah, this is pretty awesome too. I like this one. I like the Jeep one better, but I do like this one a lot. So yeah, good job. Good job. Anyway, I just for whatever reason that it's almost like I feel like I mean you've always submitted great pictures, but I feel like these are kind of next level, right? And Dave Nelson, he's always submitting next level like and this is the other thing I wanted to talk about today because I was looking at these photos and uh Ellie's right here. She's laying down here next to me. I don't know if I got batteries. Sounds like it came on. Let me see. Yeah. Whoops. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I almost ran over her foot the other day because I'm using an office chair. How do I detach? This is one of these funky. Yeah, there we go. Here's Allie. For those of you that haven't seen her in a while, she's laying down there, underexposed. See if I can get the exposure. Not really. Watch this. I gotta get the exposure up though. How do I? Yeah, ISO's on auto. It's just not enough light down there. You want a treat? Ellie? See, she's alive. Are you a good girl, aren't you? Huh? What you doing? You want to go out? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Anyhow, now I feel bad. I don't have time to go get her a treat. I should keep some here by my desk just to keep her happy. But yeah, Ellie's doing well. I got to take her to the vet next week to update her shots and things. We have to do rabies every 3 years. So I'm going to do that. And let's see. System Nature says, at my age, high frequencies are definitely missing, and my hearing make up for playing loud music and feeling the bass. Right. Oh, I know. Just getting old. Getting older is just not fun. So yeah, no problem. I mean, like I really like the images you guys submit. I mean, I don't click like on all of them because but just know that I've seen them. I mean, some people they click like on everything just to let you know that they saw your image. But if it's in that Flickr group, just assume I've seen them. And if I really like them, I'm going to click the like button because I don't want to give any false, well, not false, but what I'm saying is if I thought they were particularly good, I'll click the like button. They're all good, but some are better than others, right? That you guys submit. So I'm going to click like on those so you get a better feel for which images kind of stood out. Because if we all just click liked on each other's photos, we'd never get a really good feel for what kind of photos are more attractive than others. And not that that's important, right? But I think it's a very good way to get a feel for if you're going in the right direction or not. Because if you're posting images every day and nobody's liking them, uh, you might want to reconsider your photography on one hand. On the other hand, maybe it doesn't matter. You do the photography for yourself and you don't care what other people think, right? And you have your own style. And then, maybe at some other point in the time in the future, uh, it might be um, it might be very popular, right? So who knows? Popularity, it's not a popularity contest, is what I'm saying. Is I'm just saying that there's some photos I like better than others. It doesn't mean it's a good or a bad photo. It's just my taste, right? Um, oh yeah, your Marauder shots. Those were cool. I wanted to comment on them, but I was using my freaking phone, or no, iPad. I know I have an Apple device. I was using my iPad. I hate that freaking thing. And I just hate typing on the little dinky keyboard and stuff. If I look at the Flickr images while I'm on my computer, I comment, right? But if I'm on my laptop, my iPad, or cell phone, it's rare I comment. It's just too clumsy to use that dinky keyboard, or definitely not a touch screen on a phone. It's just ridiculous. Uh, but those are some big ass tires on your car. They were, if I recall, they were 315s by um, like 315 by 25 by 22 or something. I mean, like just super skinny, super wide, super skinny. 20, I think they were 22s, if I recall. I can't, now I can't remember. I do remember 315. That's a big, wide ass tire. I mean, that's a good uh, 90 millimeters wider than the tires on my Mazda. And I got 19-inch wheels. They're factory, but I thought they were too big for my car, right? Mm. Anyhow, yeah, they were cool. That's a really cool car. And says here, the recent Great Photography Challenge on TV has given me inspiration to get out and do street and people photos, which I'm not familiar with that show, the Great Photography Challenge. Haven't seen it. Um, but yeah, I'll watch things sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I got to go try that. I'm always looking for inspiration, right? Especially now, which I wanted to talk about. So I'm putting most PNY Rider. How you doing? It's been a while. I've been putting most of my images on glass these days. I've given up on Instagram, and Flickr has not updated their app in a very long time. Yeah, I mean, it's adequate, I think, for sharing images and liking and leaving comments. I mean, it's definitely not conducive to, it's not, it's not like Instagram, social media Instagram. I like it better. It's a little bit more photography related, because you get all the EXIF data, assuming, that you upload it with the EXIF data. And I just think it's a lot more interesting, but it is more difficult in some ways to use than Instagram, right? It's the images. I don't know. I get it though, but Instagram. I just share photos there. I don't even know why sometimes, except that that's the only way some people can see the photos that I take. And I always include in Instagram, I have to type in all the freaking EXIF data, right? Shutter speed, aperture, ISO, if I did any processing, all of that stuff. And I do that for educational purposes, right? I mean, there's people that argue settings don't matter, but I think they do. Settings do matter. And it's helpful a lot of times when people can see the settings that I used. Uh, and most of the settings, they're very generic. There's nothing special about them. But time to time, there might be an image there that when you see the settings, you understand a little bit better how that image was taken. So that's why I always try to include the settings, whether um, they're special or not, right? Because like I said, sometimes the settings do matter. But most of the time, the settings that I post, they're just generic settings, nothing particularly special, but I just put them there out of habit now. Um, oh, 315 by 35 by 20. Okay. I was thinking 22-inch because I saw the recent Cadillac Lyric. There's a 22-inch wheel option on it. It was a Jay Leno garage video. But yeah, these are massive, massive tires, particularly considering the vintage of that car. It's like 20 years old at least. And, you just didn't put big ass tires like that back in the day. Super telephoto macro. Hey, Marcia. How are you? Thank you so much for donating to my friend's charity. Not charity, but she needed some tables for her classroom. So I really appreciate that. That was very nice. And David Tellett as well. I know you were very generous. You donated twice, and then suddenly the tables were paid for. I mean, she didn't need much. She was pretty close at $300. Uh, but it was your contributions and a few others. It didn't take many people to hit the 300. That and she's really happy. She's very happy, and she sent me a note yesterday thanking me again. But I wanted to pass that along and thank all of you that have contributed to buying our tables. Because for those of you that don't know, I mentioned in my last stream that my friend who is a teacher needed to get some tables for her classroom. And so she put a little fundraiser on one of these websites, I guess, that are for teachers. And within a couple days of the stream, she got her tables. So that was awesome. See, John Yutze is here. Good to see you. Oh, hey, Serge. Oh, I'm gonna have to put my glasses on. Speaking of getting older, I just can't see I'm gonna get a big monitor soon, maybe in a couple months. I'm thinking of to buy a used Nikon D810 with a Tamron 24 to 72.8. I've never used a full frame camera and like to see the difference that it can make regarding my woodland photography. Well, I can tell you the D810 is an awesome camera, and the Tamron 24 to 70, of course, is also a very, very good lens. And I think the first thing you'll notice when you're doing your woodland photography, because I've seen you post a lot of them on the Flickr group, I can't see it making much difference given the amount of processing that you do on your images, right? If you were working with straight out of camera images and editing for very fine details, you'll definitely see a difference because the D810 is I think it's a 32 or 33 megapixel camera. So you're getting more megapixels, right? Better than 50% more megapixels. So you're definitely going to get finer detail. And the D810 and the color science and everything, the Nikon colors are beautiful and very different. They're a little bit warmer than the Olympus or any other camera system, but they're a little warmer than the Olympus cameras. And I'm basing this on my experience with my D750. The D750 images were much warmer than my Olympus images. And in a pleasing way, not in a yellow, like old 1970s photo kind of way. It was just the images were just a tinge warmer and were very pleasing. It's nothing you can't imitate through software, right? But straight out of camera, the images were a little bit warmer. And so I'd say from that perspective, it's not going to make much difference because of the way you process, because you process very surreal woodland type images. And I don't think you'll see it going to a D810. You'll see any difference ultimately. But that said, the the depth of field is going to be shallower, right? So you can shoot wide open at f2.8, which is what, an f5.6 for us, right? For micro four thirds. And that could potentially add a little bit more depth to the image, but not with the lens that you're getting. The 24-70 f2.8 with the woodland time, because you're shooting pretty wide angle most of the time, right? Or if you're shooting on the longer end at 70 millimeters, you're shooting very deep scenes where depth of field is almost, to infinity anyway. So if you want to get depth of field, like to be able to actually see it in the images in a meaningful way, you're going to have to go super fast. You'll have to get I would say a 35 1.4 or 50. I would go even 50 1.4, 50 millimeter 1.4 lens, and you shoot with that on a full frame, you're definitely going to see a little bit more depth. And if you go a little bit higher, maybe to an 85 1.4, that's when I think you'll really start to get a little more depth because of the depth of field. It's going to be much shallower. So, but 24-70 f2.8, you're going to be shooting pretty wide between 28 and 70. And f2.8 is not going to give you, there'll be some, but not enough. Like I said, particularly the way I've seen you process your images. So if you get the D810 and that lens, that'll be great for just normal photography, and you might enjoy it. I mean, it's a good deal, and that's a fabulous camera. It's kind of like the Mark II series of Olympus, right? Nikon has sort of their pinnacle of cameras and build and features and everything. And I feel like the D810 was definitely kind of very similar to the Mark II series for Olympus, where it's sort of the pinnacle of their ability to build and engineer a camera, that they did such a good job on the D810. And I sometimes think about getting one for myself, because they haven't come down quite cheap enough yet for me to just go out and buy one now. But they'll get there eventually, and I'll definitely add one to my collection because I think it's one of the best cameras ever made, just like the Mark II series from Olympus. Those are the best cameras ever made by Olympus, in my opinion. Next to the Pen F. Pen F is number one, my opinion, right? So I would say it's go ahead and get it. You won't be disappointed with the image quality, particularly with that combination. But if you want to see a difference in your photos, you're going to have to get a much faster lens, at least a 50, maybe an 85 at 1.4. And you can find D lenses, right? A 50 millimeter 1.4 D lens is only a couple $100, if I recall. And an 85 1.4 D lens, you don't have to get the AFS lenses. You can get the D lenses at 1.4, and you'll be, you'll save a lot of money. $200-300 for one of those also. And then I think you'll have to recompose, because you don't normally compose that tight, from what I recall. Once you recompose, then you'll start to see some depth to your images if you're shooting wide open with those lenses. Okay, just my opinion. Oh, that's interesting. Use Instagram for discovering new places and save those on your Google Maps. Cool. I never even thought about that. Do they have like location information on Instagram? I didn't know that. Did I receive? Yes, I am going to talk about that too, the focusing rail. That was another thing. I had so much I wanted to talk about that. Hardly anybody's here. I'm showing like 35 people here. I mean, most of you guys I know watch later, so you're probably watching this now, but it's like hours later. But um, wondering about the file sizes. Oh, that's a good question. I might have a D810 file on my computer. Let me take a quick look. Well, all you have to do is go to dpreview.com and go to the gallery for the D810, and they'll have RAW and JPEG images that you can download, and then you'll know the file sizes. That's the simplest way, because that's all I do. But I was going to check to see if I had one handy. I'll pull it up. I'll have to go back to 2016 or 2017 to see, because I haven't looked at a D810 in that in a long freaking time. And the Nikon D800 series were his favorite. So John, you'd say liked them a lot. Yeah, they are great cameras. You could even go with the D800, save a little more money, but I think the D810 is better than the D800. And not just because it's newer, right? There were some significant upgrades in the D810. Oh, the D50s and the D100s, those used CCD sensors. So the color and the processing is very different with those cameras. But they're nice. I mean, they tend to be a little bit richer. The colors tend to be a little richer when I looked at the CCD images. And at the time, CCD was superior to CMOS. The CMOS images were very thin and not very rich like the CCDs were. I mean, that's just my impression when I look at the images. But ultimately, CMOS has caught up and is now cheaper to make. And, because they've been developing CMOS forever now, it's probably far surpassed CCD. But don't quote me on that. They might still be developing CCD sensors for other applications, but for general cameras, consumer cameras, CMOS has taken over and has advanced quite a bit. And Stanley says, do y'all use presets on most of your photos, or what do you use? Leave it original. I do both, meaning a lot of times I do straight out of camera, like the images I did today. I think 4 out of 5 of them were straight out of camera JPEGs, where I converted them to black and white in camera and cropped them and then just put them up on my photo club photo site. And I'll have them on my Instagram and Flickr soon. Presets, I rarely use presets. I usually process myself. I may apply a preset if I like it, and just kind of being lazy, I'll use a preset that I think is kind of cool, and that's just out of laziness. But my preferred method is to process them myself in post-processing, using most of the time I use Photolab 5, sometimes Lightroom and Topaz, but Photolab 5 is my primary processing. Okay. So, speaking of which, here are, see if I can make this bigger. No, not that one. All right, here we go. So here is one I did. I haven't processed, well, I did process this a tiny bit. Where's my... So here's one I did. This is straight out of camera, this image here. And why isn't this expanding? So this was a raw image and I processed it in camera. I just converted it to black and white and cropped it to square. But it's a reflection shot, right? This is a puddle shot. Nothing special. But I do want to talk about these images. This is another reflection shot. This is another member in the photo club. She was taking a picture of the waterfalls themselves, and I've taken endless number of shots of the waterfalls, and I just couldn't think of any creative way to take another picture of the same waterfalls. So I spent most of my time today when I was out taking pictures of other stuff that I could find that would be interesting at this park. So there's that. And then let's see. Yeah, here's another puddle shot. Whoops. Why isn't it advancing? All right, advance. This is another puddle shot. Again, this is straight out of camera of this house. And I had to get very, very low to the ground because this house was pretty far away, or this building, I should say, so that the reflection of that building actually shows in the puddle, right? And then let's see what else I got here. This I got mixed feelings about. This one, basically what I liked was the trifecta, right, effect. You have like all of this grass and weeds, everything over here. I don't know how it got separated, but there's like this brown sludge or algae, and then it's separating the green weeds and grass, and then it's separating the green algae over here. So I took this picture out of curiosity. I just thought it was interesting personally, even though photographically it's not all that. Let me just zoom in a little bit. There's nothing really here that interesting about it. I mean, the composition is just nothing. There's no composition. There's no dramatic colors. There's nowhere to lead your eye. I mean, there's no compositional value to this image. But with respect to my curiosity, and that's one of the things in photography, you got to be curious, right, about things. But I was very curious what this was, so that's why I took this. And this is slightly processed, but there's not much difference from the original. So I have the left side is original, the right side is the process. You probably can't even tell on a live stream the difference. It's very, very subtle. Okay, this was just a simple twist, right? I just took the camera and while I was taking the picture, turned the camera. Nothing special here. I'm just playing around, having fun. And this one here, I haven't processed yet. I do want to process this image. I haven't decided what to do because as is, it's not very interesting to me. So I need to process it. Maybe a black and white and, pull the blacks in some, push the highlights out. Maybe the midtones, pull the shot. I got to process this a little bit. But as far as applying a preset, if I'm feeling lazy, I'll just go down here and I'll be like, I don't know. Some of those black and whites were pretty cool. This is pretty good. This Cenotype. I mean, that's a nice preset, right? Well, that's on top of my settings. Let me just reset this. So if I reset this and then apply that preset, Cenotype. I mean, it's okay, but I'd rather process it myself. But if I was being lazy, I would just use a preset. All right, let's see what else we got. These I took this morning. I thought this was interesting. I mean, again, nothing special, right? It's just the shadows of the grass hitting the boardwalk. And I just thought it was kind of nice. I like the texture of the wood because it's not like it's not like shadows hitting the ground, right? Just dirt. It's hitting the boardwalk with the wood and the texture. So I wanted to try to bring this. I think this is no, this I've tried to process a little bit too. I think I need to bring in some more micro contrast and maybe a little bit of more clear. You know, I got to work on this image a little. But the straight out of camera was just this color. This is the raw image here on the left. And I just converted the black and white, so now I'm trying to bring out some more grain and detail out of it. Let's see what else I got. I think that's it. Oh, and this one I don't like. What I liked this one thing, but the other thing I did was I said I'm only going to use a 25 millimeter lens today. So every shot was just with my 25 millimeter lens. And so that was limiting me to some extent because I would have loved to have zoomed in on this particular spot and captured the light a little bit better and try and capture a little more detail. But you can see look at how much I'm cropped in. This one little square. Look how much detail this 25 millimeter lens is giving me. It's pretty amazing. This lens is awesome. The Olympus 25 millimeter f1.8 is really freaking amazing. And then see if there's anything else. And then the last shot here, this is just a flash shot. What the hell? I'm at ISO 12,000? Shit. How did that happen? I'm using flash. I have to look. I wasn't paying attention, I guess. But even at ISO 12,000, this looks pretty good, right? So what I did here, this is the same 25 millimeter lens, but I put a 16 millimeter a 10 millimeter extension tube on, and I used the Godox flash, just my little TT350 to kind of pop a little light onto it, and I got that shot. And I think that's all I took today that was interesting, at least to me. But my problem is, I'll come back to this. I wanted to talk about all of these images as a group rather than individually. But okay. Oh, the D2.8s, yeah, those are small, right, Randy? Nice and compact. Oh, David is here. How you doing, Dave? Squeezing in a little stream time. That's cool. Thinking of picking up a D. You know, Andrew, I would get the D7200 over the D7500 because the D7500 it has that really nice 20 megapixel sensor from the D500, but that's the only redeeming quality. The D7500, the main reason I don't like that camera is because they took away the motor drive so that you cannot use like the D lenses from Nikon. All the D lenses from Nikon need that little screw drive. And the D7500, they took that out. So if you want to use a much wider variety of lenses that autofocus with a Nikon camera, you want to get the D7200. And the D7200 is a 24 megapixel camera rather than 20, but the 20 megapixel has better autofocus, and you know it's a better sensor, but not so much better that I'd want to give up the little screw drive on the D7200. And you can probably get the D7200 for about half the price of a D7500 on the used market. Um, oh, you got your rail too. That's cool. Yeah, I have to talk about the rail. I took a picture with it, but again, nothing special. Nah, we get some waiters. That water is moving fast, man. It ain't like you can just walk in there. You'll get washed away right away. I'm sure further upstream, if we go way up, it might be more manageable, but it's still kind of risky. That water is booking. I actually took some video. Um, Today too. Yeah. Here's some video. Let me see if I can get this to move over a bit. Why isn't that? Ah, yeah, it's not playing because it's 4K and Lightroom just won't do it. Well, anyway, I did take some video today. The water's booking though, trust me. Um, oh, Marco's here. Hey, pooping in to say hello. All right, come on back. And then Marsh said, I tried using DxO Photolab 4 to open an all-in-one image. It didn't go. Yeah, you have to have Photolab 5. They just stopped supporting 4. Once the new version comes out, that's it. I was referring to this from Marcia. She tried to open up an all-in-one file in Photolab 4. You'll have to upgrade, unfortunately. Yeah, popping in. I know what you meant, though. Okay, I'm being corrected here. You can use D lenses on the D7500. Is that so? But I was pretty sure that the D7500 did not have a screw drive on it. And the D lenses all work with a screw drive. Okay, I'm wrong. Misinformation there. But I'm going to Google it real quick because I can't believe I'm that far off. So D7500. Let's look at that picture. Well, there's a screw drive right there. So, single card slot though. The D7200 has a dual card slot. I mean, I guess who cares, but there's a screw drive right there. Apparently. Damn it. Man, I would have bet my life that that did not have a screw drive on it. But I'm way off. Holy crap. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jacob. You can't use the pre-autofocus lenses and get aperture work. Okay. I see. So the aperture ring, does it not turn, or so the AI lenses, right, won't work on it? Okay, so another reason to get a D72. If you want to use AI and A lenses, uh, you'll have to get a D7200 according to Jacob here. Yes, I was at Great Falls. Yes. That's what I was showing pictures from today. Damn it. I hate being that far off. Why is my why is my camera gone? Hold on. I've been having trouble with the cable. All right. Oh, dang, almost tripped over the focusing rail. It says, Rob Trek, were you walking up to the waterfall turned sideways so that the slim figure cuts through the water like a knife? No idea what you're talking about, Dave. All right, Lasse, I'm sorry. We'll see you later. You had some really nice pictures recently too on the Flickr group. I clicked liked on them, the ones that I really liked. So you probably saw that already. Yeah, D7500 screw drive. Man, I was way off on that. Way off. My God, I can't believe it. I'm never wrong. I'm just kidding. But I'm usually not wrong about cameras like that wrong. That was really bad. Because Andrew would have walked away if he didn't know already. He would have walked away thinking the D7500 was a no go, assuming he wanted to use D lenses. And then I can't believe I did that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Andrew. That was my bad. Rob is underexposed. Yes, I have underexposed just slightly, by a third of a stop. And I wanted to go a third of a stop higher. That's what I was at, in my previous stream. But then, in the summertime, my face gets really oily and there's just this shine and stuff that's why I'm underexposing slightly. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, wait a minute. You were talking about when the image went completely black. But I did a lot of work on the audio and the video for this stream. Well, not just this one, but all future ones. I did a lot of work to try to get the exposure correct, and I took some sharpening things that I had that I totally forgot I applied. But I had some sharpening things applied. I don't think I had the white balance calibrated correctly, and I moved the lighting in my office here just a little bit further back, so it's not quite as strong. So not only did I reduce the exposure by 1/3 for the streams and all my future videos for that, because this is where I make my videos, is right here. I reduced the exposure in the camera by 1/3, but I also moved my key light here back about 2 feet. So that's going to cut the light almost in half from what it was. So you would think, so I'm actually about 2/3 of a stop overall. If you count me moving the light back, I'm about 2/3 stop darker than last week's stream. And I'm hoping this looks good. So I forgot to ask you guys what you thought of the audio, and the audio should sound better now too, because I tweaked the audio settings. Not only that notch filter that I talked about, but I also tweaked some other settings in the audio. And now you can see the microphone in the shot, because I don't have a boom mic to hang it over me like this. This is the best place for a mic, is if it's just like right out of frame. But I don't want to get one of those booms and have that thing hanging over my head. It's just unwieldy in here as it is. So I just put it on my desk, like right in front. So tell me what you guys think, the video quality and the audio right now. Hopefully it's better. Oh my God, you had a D200, Jacob? My God, man, we're talking. You've been a Nikon fanboy for a long time. Well, let me rephrase it. You've been a Nikon user for a long time. I'm an Olympus fanboy. I don't want to call other people fanboys, and they may just be camera users, right? Dave says, I discovered Olympus in 1976. They've been the standard ever since. Yeah, the original M1. I have it in my other room. If it's not in my dry cabinet, it's sitting out front. No, hey, Darko, good to see you. I'm glad you can make it today and join us. Yeah, I'm sorry, Druid. I went out on a photo walk this morning with the photo club. They've scheduled it for Thursday, so I just had to start later. Okay, so let's get back to or let's follow up with last week's. I got my rail in. So let me talk about this. I'll probably do a review on this rail. Hopefully before it's not $10 anymore. I mean, hopefully before the price changes, right? Because right now it's $10 for this rail. It's worth $10. I'm glad I didn't pay 30 or 40 like I see a lot of them. But this reminds me of Stargate. What was that ship? The Daedalus or whatever spaceship on Stargate, the TV series. Doesn't this look like that a little bit? You know, that's the first thing I thought when I took this thing out of the box. Was this looks just like the frickin' Daedalus from I don't know if I got the name right, but the giant spaceship, Earth spaceship that, so I know one of you guys know it, but the giant Earth spaceship, battleship in Stargate, the TV series. This looks just like it. Hell, it's even got the engines in the back if you want to look at the. Well, anyway. Okay, so I know a lot of you bought this. About 8 or 9 people bought this from the last stream, based on my metrics that I get from Amazon, which is awesome. I appreciate that. And for $10, hands down, yeah, no brainer, right? What's the worst that's going to happen? I spent $10 on 2 gallons of gas this morning. Anyway, because I was stuck out in the middle of nowhere and they were like $5 a gallon. It's ridiculous. But I just put 2 gallons in because I just needed enough to get home. Like I was about 30 miles away. So, okay, so it came in the box very loose, right? The packing was awful. It was in this really thin box and it wasn't padded or anything. And they put that in a plastic bag that had no padding or bubble wrap. It's amazing it got here in one piece. But I got it. It seems to be functioning fine. And this is what happens when you drink soda. You get a lot of gas. So I had to tighten all these little screws up. It's hard to see. Let me see if I can give you guys a better view of it. I'm going to try and mount this back. See, when you get these quick release plates that are not Arca Swiss standard, I don't know how to put things back on. This way. Seriously. How does this go back on? It's too big that way. It's got to be this. Snap. Snap. Nope. Yeah, I'm so prepared here. Oh, maybe. No, it can't go this way. What is this way? There we go. So you need to be able to see this. Yeah, this is better. Let me zoom out. This cable in the way. All right. So this is the rail, right, for $10. I added a Arca Swiss plate here, so I can just drop my camera, because I always have Arca Swiss plates on my cameras, so I can just drop this on. Otherwise, it's a 1/4-20 screw underneath here. It's not an actual Arca Swiss. And then I added an Arca Swiss plate here on the bottom, so I could just mount this onto my tripod. So I've added 2 additional pieces to this rail, right? Which adds just a tiny bit more weight. So this is what I didn't expect when I got this, was how heavy this thing is. It's not heavy. I'll tell you exactly how much it weighs. We'll give this a second. 600 grams, right? 600 grams or 1.5 pounds. So this is pretty heavy, right? At 600 grams. Because you got to add the weight of your camera on top of this, right? Also, things are loose, right? So let me show you. See this kind of wiggles? So when you're using it, you have to tighten these things up. Man, it just, I don't know what, this is the only thing I'm not crazy about is that there's just a little bit of play in here. And I don't know if there's some screws or something I need to tighten. Maybe this one. That looks like it. Let's see. Oh, seriously. I think I need a regular Allen wrench or screwdriver for this. No, that's already tight. Oh, that helped. This is tight now. Okay, so I got to tighten this. But everything is kind of loose when you get it. You have to tighten everything up when you get it. At least mine, I had to. But once everything's nice and tight, it's a little more manageable. And then you can slide this forward and backwards, right? You have this on a mount. It's not smooth, okay? But I think you can get, you can do what you need to do with this. But it's not like buttery smooth, right? Just, let me see, 1 turn. Let's put this on 5. So we're at 5 millimeters here, right? And if I do 1 turn, all right, so a 360 turn of the wheel moves you 3 millimeters, right? Because I went from 5, now I'm at 2 with a single 360 turn. So it's quite a bit, right? It moves quite a bit with just a little bit of turning. So the precision, you're not going to have that super high precision that I would assume other, more expensive focusing rails would have. I mean, you can do it. if I want to move just 1 millimeter, it's like just a tiny bit. And this, right? And then it goes side to side. So this is pretty handy. All right. Anyway, that kind of sums up just the overall look and feel of it, right? It's 600 grams, and that's with my extra plates on here, right? The mounting plate and the regular Arca Swiss plate. This is probably adding 50 grams to it, so it's probably a little over 500 grams without adding stuff. And then you add the camera on top of this, and you need a pretty freaking sturdy tripod. Let me tell you, I tried to use one of my smaller tripods, and that was not cutting it. It was just shaky and wobbly because the weight of this on top. Because remember, you're mounting this, and you're probably tilting it this way. So there's some torques going on too, right? In terms of weight. So I had to use a very, very sturdy tripod. My this one here. I mean, this is not like a heavy duty tripod, but I'm not going to use one of my compact tripods that I take with me on my photo walks all the time. This is just a Mi Photo Travel, whatever, A1350. Mi Photo A1350. They don't make it anymore, so I'm not going to like spam you guys with affiliate links and stuff, but you know, the ball head, even with this tripod, I had to really tighten the ball head down so that this would not move while I was trying to use the rail, right? So that's the thing, is it's heavy. You got to tighten everything up when you get it because it was just a little rattly when I got it. And the precision's not quite there. Like I said, a 360 turn ended up moving 30 millimeters or 3 centimeters for one turn of the wheel. That's a lot if you're trying to do very precise stepping and you're focusing, right? But $10, right? I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain. $10. So let me show you one photo I took with it. Let's see. I hope I don't want to close the stream. Oh. All right. Here's the photo I took. Let me punch in. So you can see, look at the texture in the paper. And this is 1-to-1. This, no. This is one, whatever. I don't know. It's not 1-to-1. It's probably a little bit less. But it's pretty close. It's pretty close to a 1-to-1 reproduction here. And this is processed, this image. So you can almost make out, you know, the little grooves in this. This is a wasp. It died and landed on my table on the porch. So I just picked it up off the table and took a picture of it. And this is a single shot. I tried to focus stack these things and I could not, because I don't have the 60 millimeter macro lens from Olympus. I have the 60 millimeter lens from Nikon. It's a Nikon D lens, as a matter of fact, f2.8. And that's what I used for this. So the focusing rail made it a lot easier to align and get get lined up with this. So I was able to line up the wasp inside the frame, because you know you can slide this in two directions, right? Left, right, forward, and back. So that made it a lot easier. But the process, so it's going to take me a while to get used to using this. I might have to watch some videos. I mean, you'd think it's pretty straightforward, right? Just move forward, back, left, and right. But I feel like I need to watch somebody else do it that knows what they're doing. before before I can really make this work for me the right way. Because the problem I was having is my tripod, um, as sturdy as it is, if I touch the camera, man, this thing would wobble, you know? So I got to work on it my end. So right now we're still in the user error type area, right? We're in the user error window. Once we get beyond the user error window, I can do sort of a competent review on how good or bad this is. But as it stands, for $10, I say get it. But I need to get a little bit more time using it, and then I'll try and do a video on using this for macro. Okay. Where's my mouse and my glasses? I can't read anything. Okay, here's a question. Does focus stacking software take into account lining up the shots even if they are out of sync? I don't know. I assume that there is a software, I forget the name of it, that is designed specifically for stacking. I'm sure it does a good job. But I was getting crap results from Photoshop. I could not, it would stack them, but there were a lot of holes, meaning a lot of areas were still out of focus that shouldn't have been. Because I stacked like 25 images, however many it was. Let me see. I have it here. Just to show you. I have them here. 22 images. Well, 21 because one of these is the stacked image. Right? Where is it? Here it is. This is the stacked image that Photoshop gave me. And you can see the legs back here. I mean, without pixel peeping, you can see the legs back here are still out of focus. But I took pictures of the back legs to be in focus, and they were out of focus. I don't think. Yeah, it didn't do anything here. I didn't process this at all. It needs a little contrast. And some of this. Oh, that's too much. But you get the idea, right? But you can see it just, Photoshop did a terrible job stacking this. Because I definitely have the entire body focus stacked and in focus. But there's another software. I think it's only like $39 that a lot of macro photographers use. That will probably do a better job. But Photoshop, in theory, is supposed to align the images and stack them together when you do a blending type function. But I just couldn't get a good stack out of it. So I might have to watch some tutorials on how to stack using Photoshop. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. So again, we're still in that window of user error. We're not in the window of I know what I'm doing. Now I just need to practice. I'm in this window of I have no idea what I'm doing. And I don't know if what I'm doing is right. You know, the whole thing, right? Oh, Helicon Soft. Thank you. Helicon Soft. So let me pull that up. Yeah, this is the one. And I don't think it was too expensive. Purchase. Helicon Focus. 1 year license, $30. Lifetime license. So, oh, okay. I was thinking $30 to buy it, but that's just for 1 year. But that's not bad. If you're going to do a lot of focus stacking and this works, $30 a year is well worth it. Um, but yeah, this is the one that a lot of professionals use. Thank you, Marcia. Oh, hey Walter, how's it going? Helicon is great for focus stacking. Has a great plugin for Lightroom and Capture One. Very good tool and easy to learn. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I wanted to give Affinity Photo a try because Affinity Photo has focus stacking also. And I remember I used it once and it did a good job. I mean, I don't do macro focus stacking very often, but it did a good job. And I think it did better than Lightroom did. But I got to try it with this particular thing, right? And once we get out of this window of I don't know what I'm doing to I kind of know what I'm doing to practicing, then after I practice and get fairly competent, then I can tell you guys I can do a tutorial or something and give you some tips, right? Jose, hey, congratulations. I know you've been waiting forever for that thing. It's been man, that's awesome though. Congrats. The OM1 is awesome. I love this camera. Oh, Dave says Affinity Photo does an awesome job focus stacking. So I'll have to try it. I'll have to try it. Because I got Affinity Photo when it was on sale for like $25. That's like another no-brainer kind of thing. Like $25. Okay. Why not, right? And it's a good software. And what's Walter sharing here? Yeah, yeah, that's right. Walter did a video on this. So Walter, that's right. I totally forgot. Walter did a comparison of Affinity Photo and Helicon. Um, so I got to watch this again later. Holy crap, you got 2,700 views? That's awesome. I mean, you got like one subscriber. I'm just kidding. Oh, what happened to my green screen? What the hell? There we go. I'm sitting there flashing you guys my green. And then Darko says, try Combine ZM. It's free. Okay, I'll try it. Let me see what Combine ZM download. Let me look into it before I start clicking links. There's like 3 download links for it. I don't want to click like an invalid, like spammy virus type link. So there's a legitimate link somewhere. I'm gonna look into it though. Thanks. I was just kidding, Walter. 2,700 views. How do you do that with just one subscriber? Well, I mean, you got 700 subscribers. So I'm just being mean. And Walter says Affinity Focus also does an excellent job. Helicon offers different merge algorithms. Affinity does a better job of the initial masking and selection of sharp areas. Yeah, I got to try it. I bet it's better than it's. If it does a good job on this WASP where Photoshop totally failed, I'll be pretty excited. Then maybe I don't need to buy Helicon. I can just use Affinity Photo for a while until I feel the need to buy Helicon. Right now, I don't feel the need to buy it yet because I have to get good at capturing the images properly and then using the software properly and then doing it in enough volume that it makes sense to spend $30 a year for the soft. You have to balance everything, right? Yeah, see, you're in the same boat as me, right? You don't need to buy it if you do it once in a blue moon. But subscription, I know, $30 a year or $115 for a lifetime license, which is fair, right? That's the equivalent of 4 years of buying a perpetual license or buying a subscription, right? So, they figure they get you coming or going. They figure it all out. All right, Walter, we'll see you later. Thanks for dropping in. Perfect timing too when I'm talking about Helicon and Affinity, and he has a video. All right, so I think I've covered all of the basic things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about one other thing. So let me go back to today's images. No, I don't want to do that. Where's just the ones I picked for today, right? I feel like if you look at these images, does that show? It doesn't really show. How do I get this? Yeah, this shows a little better. This image is just awful. It's a reflection shot. Uh, this image I like somewhat because it tells a story a little bit, right? And it's a reflection shot, and it's a black and white. I mean, there's a lot of elements here that I like as a photographer, um, but overall the shot's not epic or anything particularly special, right? It's just a nice shot, but and interesting to me because I took it, but I don't know how interesting it's going to be to other people because it's not a great epic shot. It's just a picture that I like and maybe a few other people might like. This shot here, same thing, right? It's just a shot, reflection shot. Nothing special other than the way I took it and that I had to get down low on the ground and find that reflection. So I think the process of taking this picture was a lot more interesting than the picture itself. So if I was vlogging, I wanted to vlog today a little bit, but I just couldn't. Um, but this picture's the story of creating this picture is a lot more interesting than the picture itself. And but anyway, in the end, all that matters is the picture, right? The image, not how I took it so much. If I'm vlogging, I like to explain how I took the picture and the process, just as a teaching moment, right? Because there's a lot of people just starting in photography, or it doesn't matter. There's people that'll watch my video and say, "Oh, that's really good thinking. That's very clever what you did," or "Yeah, I like that. I'll start doing that myself." Things like that. Every now and then, somebody will find one little nugget in one of my videos that carries them forward, right, to the next level. This image here, yeah, this is crap. Uh, this image here, yeah, crap, just for fun, nothing special. Again, this one here, nothing special. It's more about, I want to get it back to where I was processing it before. Yeah, this is where I was before. This image here, the process of taking this picture is more interesting than the picture itself, right? Because uh, the way I spotted the flowers, the way the light was hitting it, and then the way I stood over them to take the picture, those things are more interesting than the picture itself. Same thing here. Kind of neat. Um, but this is my problem, right? Is I feel like, how come this is stuck? So So I feel like there's a thumbnail view of everything. I feel like I've kind of hit this, I kind of hit my limits as a photographer. Every time I go out and do photography now, this is it. This is the best I can do. And this is my problem. And I'm just wondering if you guys have run into this in the past, or maybe you're still on that curve where you're still improving every day, or every time you go out, your photography is improving, but you eventually hit this limit, or at least I did. I've been improving over the last several years, almost every time I went out. But last year and this year, and I may have talked about this last year because this is when I first noticed it, is I feel like I'm hitting this limit. Why do I keep getting a tone? Something is beeping at me. I have to be very conscious of sounds around my house because, okay, sorry. All right, now it's beeping faster. Something's not right. Could be a bomb. What the hell is it? It got Ellie's attention. She's going out to check it out. What is it, Ellie? Yeah, I hear it too. I don't know what it is. My neighborhood, let me tell you something. My mom's neighbor got shot yesterday. Or was it the day before? Might have been the day before yesterday. 23-year-old kid just out waiting in the front yard for the tree guys to come down and cut down the tree in his house. This car drove by, shot him dead. Like 5 or 6 shots. Took him out. And this is right around the corner from me. Right around the corner from me. This is the second person who's been shot in the last couple of years. Right on my street, practically. And I tell you guys, we hear gunshots. I told you guys in the past, I hear gunshots time to time at night. But this was like at 10:30 in the morning. And my mom called me and says, Rob, did you hear that sound? It was really loud. It's very strange. And I said, no, I didn't hear anything because I was in my studio trying to fix that little tone that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. So I had my freaking headphones on. I look I look totally legit, you know. I was like with my headphones and keyboard and trying to figure. Anyway, she called me. I didn't hear it. So now I'm hearing some weird sound like a bomb ticking. And it definitely is not just me because Ellie got up to go check it out too. That's really weird. So, so going, I don't know what it is. So me as a photographer, I feel like I've hit a limit, a plateau here where I'm just not getting anywhere. Every time I go out, I create the same images over and over and over again. And they're not particularly epic or great. I mean, because what reminded me of this was last week I posted my images to the photo club like I always do because we go on the photo walks every week. And one of the members was complimenting, I really love that one photo of that you took. And which one was it? It was the bee photo. Let me show you this one. This is another excellent example of my limitations. This one. This photo here. This is another really good example of where I've kind of hit a limit. So I'm shooting with the Pen F 25 millimeter lens, and I'm just using continuous shutter because I saw a few bees flying around this flower. So I set my aperture to like f16 or whatever to get the starburst effect, and I made sure that the sun sort of bent around the light right in here. to exaggerate that starburst effect, and then I stopped down to f16 to make sure I got the starburst effect, and then I used continuous shutter to capture that decisive moment, so to speak. Right? I don't have to be decisive. I just have to hold the shutter button down. But I did everything right. I did all this work, and then I shut. And this is a straight out of camera image. There was no processing applied to this, and it's a nice limited tone palette, right? You just have black and gray with a spike of starburst. So really, there's only three tones here: black, gray, and white. And not too many shades of gray, just a very simple gray. So again, a very technical picture for me, very methodical, right? I saw the scene and I was like, okay, this is what I can do. Stop my aperture down to f16, bend the light around the flower, use continuous shutter, and wait for the bee, and capture the bee right at the right moment. And then use black and white. And I knew, because I'm shooting straight into the sun, that I'm going to have a very high contrast, limited palette type image, right? But again, everything was very methodical. And this is my problem. This is my problem. This is why I keep running into these barriers as a photographer. So I'm having trouble breaking out of this following the rules type thing, and it's a rule of thirds image too. If I drew lines around it, you would see that. So I applied like 5 or 6 different things to get that image. And when you're out shooting all the time and practicing, these things all come into your brain very quickly. It's not like I had to like sit down and it didn't take me more than a split second. As soon as I saw the scene, I knew exactly what to do. So I'm happy about that. And I knew exactly the exposure I wanted, and I got it. So I'm very, very confident with exposure, recognizing a scene, and then composing it in a way that fits all of the standard type compositional type rules and effects. But every day I come home from a photo walk, I'm like, this is it. I mean, is that it? That's what I say to myself. Is that the best you can do? And then when I looked at the images I got today, even though I put a lot of thought into it, like I didn't even show you guys my sunflower pictures. I mean, that one I had a hard time with, actually. I'm going to show you one more example. Just so you know, I'm not, just so you know exactly what I mean. Like, look at this. It's only half a frame here. Hold on. What I need to do. Well, here's two. Here's one. Here's the other one. You can see most of it in the stream. And there's great detail. If I punch in, you can see every little detail on this bee and this bee. But again, just here's another one, right? I mean, I really tried. I really tried to get an epic shot in the sunflower field. And I like this one too. But I couldn't do it. So I'm very frustrated as a photographer. And I'm always looking for inspiration and new ideas. Like I bought this $10 rail, maybe help me with the, but again, this is a very technical thing, right? Now I'm applying a very specific method to capture my photos, and it'll help me do that. But it's not a creative tool, so to speak. It's just a tool. So that's where I'm at. So I don't know if you guys have run into this, and what did you do to break out of this rut or plateau? It's not a rut. It's more of a plateau, because it's not like I don't enjoy photography. I go out and I have a great time. I love it, right? But then I get home and look at my images and I'm like, is that it? Is that all I can do? And it's just very frustrating when I see all these images, like Andrews Galloway picture of that Jeep and the tire. I mean, I thought that was awesome, I don't I don't think I would have saw that if I, you know what I mean? I would not have seen that because he didn't just snap that picture. He waited for a Jeep to go by so that it would be framed perfectly in that image. There was a lot of thought put into that picture. I mean, I'm not saying luck doesn't have a lot to do with it sometimes, but I don't think so in this case. I think he put some thought into that image. Oh, where's my mouse? Let me see. Yeah, familiarity. Oh, I never even and Dave started a great Dave Nelson started a great thread on Flickr forum too, in the Flickr group. Work outside the limits. I know it's like I appreciate the advice, Darko, but it's very generic, right? Break the rules, basically, is what you're saying. And but to break a rule, you have to see something there to begin with that's outside of the rules. And that's where I'm struggling is I don't see compositions outside of the regular rules. I just see chaos. And yeah, there's people that take pictures of chaos and are amazing. I can't remember who they are. And then there's people that take pictures of simplicity, uh, very simple things, but everything. This is where I keep running into this problem. Is I'm constantly looking at things in a very methodical, rote kind of way. Like, what did they do? Okay, I can imitate that, and I can get a really interesting shot, but it's not really my shot. I'm just copying somebody else, and that's perfectly fine. It's great for practice to develop your own style. I'm just not there yet. I'm just in this plateau area and very frustrated, and I'm just wondering if this is something that a lot of photographers go through, where you get to a level that you're extremely competent with a lot of things in photography, but you're just not able to break out and get to that next level. And like I said, I'm having fun, and a lot of times I go out and I don't take it so seriously. I have fun, but there's definitely times when I was trying, and I'm like, why can't I just go out every single time I go out and get at least one epic shot, or every other time that I go out, Like why am I posting 3 to 6 images a week on Instagram that are all just kind of meh? It's a nice picture, but it's not epic. It's not going to go down um, in history. It's not, if my and this is the thing. Except for a few family photos, right? If my entire hard drive and archive got lost tomorrow, I wouldn't sweat it so much because I don't feel like there's anything in it, and there's probably over 100,000 images. I don't feel like there's anything there that I would really miss. Why did my stream go off? That's weird. Um, I don't feel like I would really miss anything. And but anyway, let me check the comments because I know I asked a few times what you guys thought. Gavin, never heard of him. Gavin Hardcastle. Yeah, yeah. Don't overthink it, Dave says. Right? I know. I don't. And Marcia says, take the pressure off and photograph for the fun of it. I do. I do. I mean, I'm not getting I'm not getting frustrated to the point that I, need to be on medication or something. I'm just I'm just saying it's been like a year and a half, right? We're in August already, so more than a year and a half, where I felt like my photography has just been meh, been exactly the same. No, I could have taken any shots I took today, I could have taken a year or two ago, because the skill set is exactly the same. Nothing has gone beyond my skill set. So how do I break free of that, so to speak? Make a video on searching for the epic shot and what you think the methodology would be. Maybe that will spark, yeah, because I love teaching, maybe there will be, maybe there you will seek and see new ideas. That's a great idea, actually, Darko. That was a great idea. I like that because that has a couple of things going for it. It shows you know me, right? That you know me pretty well, and you're able to give me an answer or a suggestion that was specific to me. I like that. I'm gonna choke up. I'm all teary eyed. You guys know me really well. I appreciate that. And then Jose says, "What I do right now is exploring my new camera, squeeze the juice out of it, then go back to the." But yeah, yep. You gotta have fun with your camera, learn everything it can do, and then go back to the basics, and then use those other things when you need them, right? And Dave, who takes, I think, some of the best images in the entire Flickr group, I would, for me, the images that Dave puts in the Flickr group, I think, are at the top. At the top, you know what I mean? Like, if I had to rank everyone that contributes to the Flickr group, I would put Dave at the top in terms of the quality of the images. I mean, all of them are great. I mean, of course, I have to say that, right? But they really are. There are really a lot of great images there. But if I had to pick one, it would be Dave. Just off the top of my head, if I had to pick one. Yeah, I know. Ansel Adams, like yeah, he would take a lot of pictures, and then only a few were good, right? But that's the thing, is like he had a path to taking a good image. He had a way of seeing things to take a good image. I bought one of his books. I should read the damn thing eventually. I just looked at the pictures, but there's like, you know, it's a book on learning how Ansel Adams shoots. And I haven't read it, but he had a methodology, or not a methodology, but he knew he would eventually take an epic picture. I just feel like if I get an epic picture, it's totally luck. I don't feel like that I would get I could consistently get one or two epic pictures every month, or one or two epic pictures every 6 months. Because I get it, I can go out on a photo walk and I can take a lot of pictures that aren't even as good as the ones I took today. I just, and that's fine. I'm just out there for fun. I take these pictures. I don't care how good or bad they are, right? I just kind of like the process and getting the images and enjoying them in that respect. But then there are times when I go out and I really try. I really try to get a good picture. Like that one of the bee, I thought was a good picture. But it's a limit. It's like a cap. Like I just feel like I'll never take a better picture than that. Whatever the subject, it doesn't have to be a bee, it could be anything, right? I just feel like I'll never take a better picture ever without something changing in me. Oh, I just, yeah, that's true. I didn't use my hands today, but I did put my camera down and just looked at the scene, right? And just looked at the scene for a long time. Um, and I'm doing that more lately. I used to frame everything in the camera to try to find the composition, but now I just say, forget it. I'm just going to stand here and look around and see if I can see anything, right? And think about the framing. But anyway, yeah, doing this or just looking at it to me is about the same. Um, but you're right. Yeah, my expectations are, but that's, that's just uh I mean, it's partially that Fan Ho was for good. Yeah, Fan Ho. Yeah, he was good. I've seen his stuff. Isn't he the one with the lady with the umbrella going down somewhere? I mean, that could be like 1,000 different photographers, but he's that picture from him is kind of iconic, right? Um, Instagram might be your problem. Make up your own website and fill it with all new images. Original life. Vivian Meyer and Henry Cartier-Bresson are good inspiration. Try to best them every day. Yeah, they are good. Not everything is great. I mean, I tried studying some fine art and Victorian art and paintings and stuff from the 1400s up to the 1800s and studying symbolism. Um, and then again, I fell into that trap of doing everything methodically, right? Like, okay, what did this artist do? Why did he use this particular object? What symbolism does that represent? Why are they placing things in the places they are? Why is the person standing here and looking that way? There was a lot of things when I was studying it, uh, studying art that I was like, I just felt, and I stopped because I felt like I was falling into that rut again of being very methodical. And, photography ultimately is a skill that anybody can learn and get really good at, right? So maybe that's all it is. Maybe I just have to keep taking pictures until that light bulb goes off and says, you have a path, you have a style, uh now when you take a picture, the pictures are you and you are the picture. You kind of reach that what is that climax, right? uh in photography, I just I just feel like I'm never going to reach that point the way I'm going now. Search a function in the camera, not use it often, try to get comfortable with it. Yep. Yeah, but again, this is a very methodical approach, right? Learning a new feature in the camera and using it and getting good at it. And that's, yeah, I'm obsessed with the epic photo. It's true. But it kills me when I see when I look at like some photo books and online anyway, and I see the kind of images that the great photographers of all time produce. I mean, how do they just fill a whole book of hundreds of images of amazing shots, and then you see these galleries where all of the images are amazing. I went to the PPA thing, Imaging USA, back in January, and there were certainly 1,000 beautiful images there, right? Because they had a gallery there. Um, and I really said, there's a lot of technical things here that I need to learn, right? There's a lot of things in lighting, in color. There was a lot of things I had to learn, which I think I can learn, and I'll probably make a YouTube video once I learn it, right? Just like I was talking about this rail. There's a lot of things I need to learn in photography yet. Uh, but a lot of the image I didn't feel like were epic. Like, I just look at it and I'm like, why? Why is this image? Why did this image win so many awards? Because it just didn't appeal to me at all. And and then other images are just freaking amazing, right? um, and they don't have to be from famous photographers. Like I said, in the photo club or in the Flickr group, I see some really amazing images that I think are just just next level. Like I could never take an image like that. Um, sometimes that's just how I feel. I'm like, man, how did they take it? You know, how did they see this scene? I mean, I don't want to say that that picture of the tube, tire with the Jeep in the middle, um, was one of those epic shots that I'm like, how did they do that? I can see being able to take a shot like that eventually for myself, right? Because there was a lot of standard methodical things there. It just takes some patience, takes a little bit of observation and curiosity to get a shot like that. But there are shots. I wish I could give you an example. I'm drawing a blank now on photographers where they took this picture and I'm like, man, how did they see that? How did they see that? And how is that? Why is that such an epic picture? Um, well, anyway, I'll explore this more. I don't want to bore everybody to tears with my own rut or struggles in photography. But I just thought I'd share with you how I'm feeling right now about my photography, and I don't feel like it's anything special. Like I said, I could lose my entire archive, and I wouldn't miss it too much because I could just go out and take them again. But there are there are photos I guarantee of great photographers that would be like, if I lost my entire archive, you might as well kill me, because there are images that I took at that time and place that I'll never be able to take again. You know what I mean? And in that sense, and that's what I want to do, is I want to be in a place where my archive of images, and they don't have to be valuable to anybody else, but my archive of images have some value to me, that I can say to myself that this will be very painful if I ever lost this image. If this image ever disappeared. I mean, outside of family photos, right? Those always have value. And ultimately, that's all that matters. That's important when it comes to photography, is cherishing your friends and family throughout life. But I'm talking about more on the creative side, and and being able to say, yeah, that would hurt if I lost that picture and it just vanished from the world forever. uh, but okay. Um, Yeah, that Marcia's recommended one, and Walter suggested one. Uh what the heck was it? Started with an E, I think. Helicon. Helicon software, $30 a year or $115 for a lifetime. Helicon. Helicon. That's the only other one I can suggest, but I haven't tried it myself, but others have. Many others have. Yeah, video clip on focus stacking. Um I have to try that. I have to get good at it. It's going to be a while before I can do that competently. Uh, and then Lauren says, I see your problem. You are not accepting what you see as proper and instead reflecting on the art of the past. Pump the ego to go to the point that you're confident that you see that what you see is the way to go. Hmm. That requires a certain amount of arrogance, right? Like, I'm going to take this picture. It's going to be awesome. I don't know. I have to give that some thought, Lauren. That's very deep. I have to give that some thought. Pavarotti or Jagger. That's funny. Yeah, pros only show their best, but never. And that's the thing. I'm always showing my best work, and it's just mediocre at best. Like almost every image I post on Instagram or Flickr are kind of like my cherry picks. Like I think this is like my best image. But I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't think they're great images, but it's the best I could do, and that's the problem. Yeah, Walter did a video on, Walter Rowe. He did a video on affinity versus helicon, so you can check that out. That might give you some insight into how to use affinity. And Darko says, "How often do you do street photography? Maybe challenge yourself taking photos." I don't think I can do that in this area. It's a little risky. Um, like I was saying, my neighbor just got shot just standing outside and killed. He's dead. My neighbor, just around the corner. I didn't know him at all. I only know my immediate neighbors right next door, but uh, and I think it was about 2 years ago. A couple of firemen just got shot. You know, right down, and I'm talking about on my street, not in my neighbor. In my neighborhood, the crime is rampant. It's just ridiculous now. It's really bad now. I'm afraid to go outside even. Uh, but street photography, it's a little rough. I mean, a lot of it's built up in my own brain, right? Like this fear. But at the same time, when I'm hearing gunshots every night, not every night, but I hear time to time gunshots outside, or like I said, 2 days ago, my neighbor got shot and killed, just standing, waiting for the tree guys to come take the tree out of his yard. Got shot and killed, and then they haven't found the guys. They got away. I just, I just think about going out with a camera and taking pictures of people. I'm gonna get shot or robbed or something. That's why uh, I'm not a fan of street photography so much. Never mind all the legal implications technically that could come out of it, right? But anyway, uh, I'm like Debbie Downer today. Maybe I should end the stream. Yeah, the photo editing was fun. I think about it every week, and then every week I don't do it. It's I should get back into it. Yeah, you're right. Photography is like music. Just shoot your own. No one really cares about my shots. I've taken 100,000 photos yet. I don't even have an Instagram or Flickr. Yeah. Um, yeah, I only have my Flickr and Instagram really for the educational part, right? Because I always post my settings, and if I'm if I'm really into it, I post all of the detail about those settings, like what is the gradation, what is the shadow setting, highlight shading. I put everything down. What were the color settings I used? But usually, I just put the exposure settings, uh, and maybe the color profile setting I use. But I don't, I put at least that much on every shot. But um, because I want my Instagram and my Flickr to be educational for those that are aspiring to be at least as be able to get shots like I take, right? um because I talk to the people in my photo club. I talk to some students that I teach time to time, and they think the photos I take are the best thing since sliced bread sometimes, right? And I'm like, they're not that great, but let's talk about how you take this kind of image, like the B shot. That's a very good teachable image, right? Because I can talk about stopping down the aperture, using continuous shutter to capture the decisive moment, using limited tones, using rule of thirds. I can talk about all those things to help somebody get uh, to be able to take the same shot that I did, right? And then they'll be like, wow, this is awesome. Or teaching live composite. or teaching. There's a lot of things that I can teach, and they're all very technical, methodical type things. And there's a lot of things I need to learn, right, in photography. But I'm just, I just feel like I should be able to go out with just a, take my Hasselblad out, 6x6 square format, and take an epic shot. You know, that's what I want to be able to do eventually. Uh, yeah, I always carry my camera, always. Never been a flat. Yeah. I appreciate that. I try to be inspiring. That's why I don't like being a Debbie Downer today. I'm just being a Debbie Downer on myself today. But I really try to teach people how to use their gear so that they can go out and take some interesting images or do things they've never done before with their camera. Um, I mean, once in a while I'll do like I did the dash cam review, because I really like that dash cam. Now that I did that dash cam review, because I bought that dash cam actually. They offered to sponsor that video, but I said, I like the dash cam. You don't have to do that. I told him you don't have to do that. So now I'm getting all these offers for dash cams to review dash cams in my email. Well, I got two more just in one day from publishing that dash cam video, and I don't think I'll do them. I'm just I just wanted to do the one that I got because I bought the same thing last year, but this is the upgraded model. But yeah, most of my videos are about teaching people how to use their camera and use the features in the camera, right? And giving some suggestions, that kind of thing. It's very rare I actually do a camera review. Like I bought the OM1. I've had it for what, 6 months now or whatever, March, right? March, April, May, June, July. 6 months. Well, going on six. So I've had it 5 months. I haven't done a review on it. You know what I mean? Even though I could, I have not. Like Robin Wong says, he's going to do one eventually, but he's kind of late to the game like me, right? It's like, what would be the point? Everybody's done a review. And yeah, that's true. Maybe it's just not me, you know, that have a little arrogance. And Robin says, I have a degree in photography from the film days. I know how to take pictures and print them. I can't say I've taken any great images. From the 70s. So you've been at it a while. Yeah, I need to find a new neighbor. So you used to be an active DPR. Wow. I knew someone who only shoot puddles and mud and snow and did a wonderful job. That's true. And that's why I wanted to do Peter Forsgaard's 52-week assignments. I kind of dropped off that for a little bit. I did submit something the other couple of weeks ago. I need to get back on that, but he'll pick something and then you got to do that for a week. I don't know. I'll get there. I just saw, I just looked at my images from the sunflower thing I went to and whatever else I've been doing, the Brookside Gardens. I've been doing all this photography and I'm just not happy with the photos. Like look at this one, right? This is another starburst shot. And let's see. Yeah, I got a billion of these waterfall shots. But this is a picture I took earlier this year or late last year. I think it was earlier this year. I could have taken this picture 2 years ago. It'd be exactly the same. I just no improvement at all. Um, the birds are a lot of fun though. See, that this kind of photography is just for fun, right? I mean, this is just fun. I enjoy this. I have a lot of fun doing this. This like this car, this is just for fun, right? I'm not trying to do anything epic. So I do a lot of photography just for fun, but when I'm trying, I'm really trying, and it's like, man, what a freaking, train wreck when it comes to trying to get a decent image. Like in my mind, I thought this would be epic, but it's not. It's just a reflection shot. What did I do here? This was just an opportunity shot, nothing special. I thought the way the clouds were and the way these trees were lit up were kind of interesting, but same thing here. Like this was just kind of an interesting shot. Just as, heavy equipment is always fun to take pictures of, right? Um, what else? Pictures of Ellie. She's always fun to get pictures of. Well, anyway, I like this picture. You guys probably haven't seen this before. This dog has a treat in his mouth, but it looks like he's holding a cigar. So I think of that picture painting of the dogs playing poker whenever I see this shot. But I was using that picture as a teachable type picture. I think I was talking about bokeh or something. Can't remember. Okay. Um, yeah, there's no legal issues. Basically in the US, if it's in a public area, you're pretty safe. You can take a picture of anybody in a public area where there's no expectation of privacy. Um, but I'm thinking more of like if I ever want to publish these photos in a book, right? That's a little different. I think at that point you do run into some legal issues. Like, did you get, an architectural permit or property permit? Did you get the model release from everybody in the picture? It's like it can kind of get crazy once you want to start to actually publish things. If you're just taking photos for yourself and social media, I think you're fine. But I think as soon as you want to publish something as work, that's a little different. But I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. Oh, thanks, Darker. You like my birds and shot flights? Yeah, the birds and shots are fun. Birds and flight shots. I need to do that again. I think Uncle Rob just. Oh, speaking of, yeah. Matter of fact, I got to call this girl back. That is some friend of mine was calling. I have friends, lots of friends. Dash cam street photography, right? The decisive moment. Yes, I could do a review, Marco. Definitely, my perspective would be very different if I do a camera review. Uh, Now, especially now I've been using it a while, I can talk about it. Of course, I got about 5 other cameras I could talk about besides the OM1. But then my channel kind of turns into a review channel, right? Ellie and Black and White Project. Yeah, arrogance is negative. Confidence, yeah. Back when I was making a lot of money, I was very arrogant, so to speak. You wouldn't believe it, but I was kind of an ass when I had money. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I was a little bit of an ass. And I think you were asking me about a monitor last week, but For photo editing, is it better to have a high? Yes. However, my video card can't handle 1440p, let alone 4K. I will play video games. Um, I don't know if Marco's still here, but Mark Wolf needs a good 1080p monitor that does 100% sRGB. That should not be hard to find. I didn't shop for that because I already have one, but it's like 9 years old, so I can't tell you to buy that. But the more the better. But you can get away. I've been using 1080p for 9 years now, maybe longer, because this monitor replaced another 1080p monitor that burned out. It was back when they still used fluorescent instead of LED. The fluorescent bulbs finally burned out in that monitor, so that's when I bought this one, and that was 9 years ago, or 8 years ago, right? Yeah, 8 years. Yeah, make a composite. Fly on the wall. Uh God, there's so many comments here. Yeah, I think I seen something similar. Um, but somebody needs to email me that exact, like what channel it's on and stuff. I don't have cable, so I don't know if I'd be able to watch it even if I knew what channel it was on. I'd have to be able to stream it on the internet somehow. Um, when is the Home 5 coming out? I don't know. I think September, October. Maybe I think it's announced in September, release in October. That's what I heard. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know street photography law, but you hear stories, right, of the kind of nonsense that goes on over photos. So that's why I'm a little, normally I wouldn't care, right? But between that and the freaking worried about getting shot, taking a picture, between those two things, and a little bit of experience I've had with these with some people just losing their freaking mind because I wasn't even taking their picture, but they didn't like me being anywhere near them with a camera, you know. Um, these three women ganged up on me. I'm not even taking your picture. Why are you giving me a hard time? So I don't want you near me. Just stay away from me with that camera. Like, God, woman. In my mind, I was nice and cordial, but in my mind, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? You know? Okay, I think I'll end it here. I've been kind of rambling a long time. So I want to thank everyone for coming in today. I appreciate your support. I really love seeing the images you guys put in the Flickr group, and Dave posted a thread on cameras. I didn't even talk about that. I wanted to talk about that today too, but that's a long discussion. It's probably better just to do it on the forum in the Flickr group. I'm sorry, and I haven't really addressed my personal forum that I have under Rob Trek. That is I mean, I check it time to time, but I haven't been doing anything to grow it. And Siegfried still posts there some really interesting articles that I check out. And as well as others. I think a lot of you still go to the robtrek.com forum and just read what's going on there. Sometimes you post. Um, but I need to work on the community side of this my online presence a little bit more. I just haven't been busy with other stuff, right? So thanks again for joining me today. It was great seeing everybody. I should be back Sunday, I think. I'll have to check, but I'll try and you'll see my stream come up. So you guys have a great weekend. Thanks again for being here. I really appreciate everyone um, coming in and chatting with me. So take it easy. These long goodbyes are rough, right? Where's I'm just gonna click the end button. Okay. See you guys later.